Okay, today I want to share one of the little productivity hacks I've been using to get a little bit more done. One of the side hustles I have is crochet. And when you're crocheting or knitting or weaving or doing anything crafty, or even if you're just kind of mindlessly typing, maybe you're transcribing something and your hands are busy, and you want to be able to listen to something, and it may not necessarily be an audiobook or a podcast, I've found that text to speech applications and functionality has been very useful to me to be able to get more done, get more read, learn more while I'm doing something else with my hands. For me, it's usually crochet. And I have two paid subscriptions. Obviously, you can do text to speech for free. Edge has a feature built into it. There are extensions you can get for other browsers that will do text to speech. But I believe in these two particular systems because they offer a little bit more than just a generic text to speech experience. One of them is Readwise Reader, and I like Readwise Reader because it's how I capture all my RSS feeds. It's how I save articles that I want to keep for a long time, as opposed to maybe using Instapaper or Google Keep or Pocket or something like that. I use Readwise Reader. I'm paying for the subscription. I might as well make use of those features. I have application settings so that I can have different newsletters coming via email. It has that feature where you can have newsletters sent directly into your Readwise library. And so everything that I bring into Readwise is then readable with their text to speech. Now I also have Speechify as another paid service that is really centered around text to speech. That is really its bread and butter. And it also has an extension. Readwise has an extension where you can send articles from the web to the reader and to your library. Speechify has an extension as well, but Speechify's extension allows you to just read the web. You get a media player on pretty much any web page that you can just read. And I use this with webmail to read my email. I use the Hey email app, which has a great feed function where it just kind of gathers all your email together in one big scrolling feed. So I can just click on emails, open them up in the browser in a pop-up, and have Speechify read them to me so I can get through my email while I'm still crocheting. I can get through my newsletters while I'm still crocheting. Whatever I have, if I want to read, keep up with news websites, I can have them read to me by Speechify. And so I'm going to contrast their voices just so you can hear, and keep in mind, I have paid subscriptions for both of these. So both of these offer better quality voices when you're paying for the system. And just so you get a sense of that, the Speechify paid subscription is about $12 a month. But with that, you get a lot more voices than you get with the free one. They do have a free. It has limited timing. You don't get as much time to listen, and you can't listen to anything faster than 1x. But when you pay for it, you get a whole bunch of different voices. You have more options for storing things in your library. You can even scan in real world books, which is an option that could be useful if you want to read more of what you have lying around in your house. And then Readwise they also have a light version but that doesn't offer the app. And you really, to take advantage of all that Readwise offers, I think you really want the app, because that's where you can gather your RSS feeds and your emails, and you can highlight the web and send them to the reader. And then you have the text to speech features as well. So just to contrast what these voices sound like, when you come into Readwise Reader and you're in your library, you can click on any of the articles to bring them up in full screen. And I have an article I just picked out of my library from joanwestenberg.com from a month or so ago. And I'm just going to click on the listen button.
There's been a lot of hand-wringing about social media moderation of late. Platform X isn't doing enough to stop harmful content. Platform Y is censoring too much speech. Platform Z needs better content moderation. But there's something deeply confused about these conversations. We seem to be demanding a standard of moderation from social media platforms that we don't even attempt to achieve in real-world social spaces.
So this is one of you have options with Readwise where you can pick from the different voices, and they have their version 7 beta voices that are a little bit higher quality than the generic ones. So I've picked, and this is the one that I use pretty much every day. They have the different voice sounds, obviously higher pitched, lower pitched, male, female. But you have your controls down here, obviously your media buttons. You can go backwards or forwards. You can drag along the timeline. You see what is playing. So if you've moved away from this page, you can still see what's playing. You do have the option to speed up all the way up to, I believe, maybe 3x is the limit. I was thinking it was 4x, but maybe it's 3x. But I usually keep things somewhere between 1.2, 1.4 for my podcasts. So that's usually what I use for text to speech as well. So you see what voice you've picked, you see what speed you're at, you can mute it. That kind of gives you a sense of what it's like to use Readwise. Obviously, you have to go through your articles one by one and have them play. I haven't seen a way yet to kind of just establish like a podcast queue and just have articles just read to you. But if I figure that out, I will update in the comments. In terms of Speechify, it is a little bit different. It's not a reader, right? You can read the web. So whatever page you happen to be on, you get this player. And again, you have the ability to customize the voices. The voice that I have here, his name is Henry. I'm not going to click on him because he'll start talking and telling you. You'll hear that in a second. But you have the same ability to control speech, and you can go faster here. You can go up to 4x, I believe. And then you can also set settings by website. So if you want certain voices for certain websites, you can do that. You can set settings by each website, which can be pretty handy, pretty useful. I use the same voice pretty much everywhere, but I'm going to go ahead and start this at the beginning.
There's been a lot of hand-wringing about social media moderation of late. Platform X isn't doing enough to stop harmful content. Platform Y is censoring too much speech. Platform Z needs better content moderation. But there's something deeply confused about these conversations. We seem to be demanding a standard of moderation from social media platforms that we don't even attempt to achieve in real-world social spaces.
Did you catch that? The inflections are ever so slightly different in Speechify and a little bit more human. The way he said that we don't even attempt to achieve, and I can't mimic it very well, but it's just a little bit more human, I think, than the Readwise voices. But they're both doing a pretty good job. I don't know why this particular Platform Z hangs it up. It hangs it up with more than just this voice. This is one of their standard voices. I've got here, it's Henry. They do have an AI enhanced voice. And I'm going to go back to this one because this is one of their advanced voices. So I'm going to compare advanced voice to advanced voice back here in Readwise with good old Daniel.
There's been a lot of hand-wringing about social media moderation of late. Platform X isn't doing enough to stop harmful content. Platform Y is censoring too much speech. Platform Z needs better content moderation. But there's something deeply confused about these conversations. We seem to be demanding a standard of moderation from social media platforms that we don't even attempt to achieve in real-world social spaces.
Now, again, the inflections are pretty good there. But when you hear the voice going through this list, it doesn't really feel like a list. To its credit, it doesn't get tripped up over Platform Z for whatever reason, but it just feels less like a list. Now, if I switch over to one of the premium voices, which the founder, his name is Cliff Weitzman, he has made his voice as one of the AI enhanced voices that you can pick. He's going to start talking.
Hi, my name is Cliff Weitzman. I'm the founder of Speechify. I made Speechify to help me with my dyslexia and ADHD. Now, our AI helps millions of people. I hope it can help you too.
Public square analogy. The most popular argument seems...
There we go.
There's been a lot of hand-wringing about social media moderation of late. Platform X isn't doing enough to stop harmful content. Platform Y is censoring too much speech. Platform Z needs better content moderation. But there's something deeply confused about these conversations. We seem to be demanding a standard of moderation from social media platforms that we don't even attempt to achieve in real-world social spaces.
And so, again, it sounded a little bit more like a list here. I don't know if you caught that, but Platform X, blah, 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 blah. Platform Y, platform, and again, the Z. I don't know why the Z trips it up, but if it weren't for that, it would sound like it's actually reading a list and kind of giving contrast a little bit between those. And I don't know if you heard, like, when it said late, late. There's just a little bit of extra emphasis on the T. Before you get to but, there's like a little extra breath sound, like it's just a little bit more human. And when you're listening to potentially hours of emails and websites and newsletters in a day, that little extra inflection feels just a little bit nicer to listen to for a long period of time. So I do prefer the Speechify voices. And Speechify is useful for, like I said, when you're just wanting to keep up with the internet, but you don't want to have to sit there and scroll through the page and read it. You can have the page read to you. You do still need to kind of move around a little bit from time to time to get to article to article. But I do like both features, and I use them for different purposes. I use Readwise to keep up with my newsletters and my RSS feeds. And if I have RSS feeds that are pretty long and I want to listen to them, I can do that. If I want to just listen to the web, usually for my email, I use my web mail applications and I just click on open in browser and I have it read to me. I find both of these very useful. But again, to get the best out of them, to get the most out of them, you need the subscription. So it could be super beneficial to you, though, if you're the kind of person like me where you're doing something where your hands are busy, but your mind is free and you could listen to stuff. And you don't want to just listen to audiobooks and podcasts. You actually want to keep up with what's on the web. And maybe not everything that you want to keep up with is in podcast form. This gives you a lot more options to be able to read what's on the web and be able to have things that you pull into your library that you can save for later and read them when you want to. I think it's beneficial. So I wanted to share it and just contrast these voices because text-to-speech is getting better all the time. And these are some really good options. And I think as they improve, we'll find them even more beneficial and more enjoyable to listen to. So that's what I got for you today. Thanks for watching.